Come on. Mayday, Mayday, this is Lara Croft of the Endurance.
This is aircraft Nautilus 177 Alpha. Searching for you since the distress call from your vessel. Almost given up hope.
So had we.
Got your approximate position, but we could sure use a visual.
I'll figure something out.
Be heading your way soon. Out.
Lara Croft, you are my hero! Hey, you know, Reyes actually just cracked a smile.
Tomb Raider is the reboot for the classic 3D platformer series developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. With no nostalgia for the original games and with Rise of the Tomb Raider going multi-plat this month, I figured it was time to finally give this series a look, with the reboot looking like a good place to start. And how was it? It was good. Tomb Raider is a solid 3D platformer easily in the same vein as Uncharted that successfully breathes new life into the much-loved series, but it's only held back from greatness by a lack of originality and constant narrative dissonance. The story acts as an origin story for a young and inexperienced Lara Croft. Lara and her friends are on an archaeological expedition to look for the lost Japanese kingdom of Yamatai, only for their ship to be caught in a sudden storm, stranding them on the lost island they're looking for. What follows is a story of survival as Lara must contend with savage wildlife, mad cultists, and supernatural forces. The story is well written, but it's pretty easy to tell what's going to happen in the long run, and it's not really something that's going to grip you, but is a great effort. Couple with this, a constant issue of narrative dissonance. Lara is just too immediately capable. Whenever she picks up a new weapon for the first time, she fires it off with all the skill of a professional marksman, despite only having experience with a bow. And there's a scene where she has to kill a man for the first time and is taken aback in horror at what she's done. But immediately afterwards, she's sneaking up and snapping necks or popping people's heads and doesn't bother batting an eyelash. A personal nitpick is when hunting is introduced. You're only required to hunt one animal once, and after that, the only purpose hunting serves is to help grind for skill points and weapon upgrades. It's a sorely missed opportunity for a hunger mechanic that would have tied into the narrative's theme of survival perfectly.
Sorry.
Now, this game is beautiful. There's never an environment or character model that underwhelms. Coupled with this, some great animation, and you've got a game that is pleasing to the eye. I ran this on the default graphical settings and had a constant 60 FPS, and only ever experienced any frame rate hiccups while capturing footage. The only exception to this beauty occurs when the realistic hair physics are turned on. It's only applied to Lara's model, so when she's next to other characters, she looks like a stall mannequin that's come to life. Plus, it impacts the frame rate, so you're better off just not using it.
I just need to rest for a few minutes.
Gameplay-wise, the game borrows very heavily from the Uncharted series, but it never feels like an Uncharted clone. This is due to incorporating weapon upgrades, RPG skill trees, and sandbox elements to the areas you go through. While these are good ideas on paper, the skill tree further feeds the disconnect between story and gameplay, with Lara going from a desperate survivor with amazing marksmanship to a desperate survivor with amazing marksmanship who's also a brutal killing machine of ultimate death.
Oh God! She's just one girl!
The sandbox elements don't fare too well either. Outside the story, there's nothing else to do except look for collectibles in earlier areas, or look for tombs. Now, the tombs are enjoyable physics puzzles, but unfortunately, the game never requires you to go through any of them, and are further undermined by how short and easy they can be, reducing them to unnecessary side attractions with skill points being the only reward. It would have been nice to have side missions featured, or at the least, make the payoff for a tomb tie into Yamatai's lore, rather than just allocating lore duty to audio logs among the collectibles.
While we of Yamatai bask in the warmth of our grace, those who oppose us will burn.
Also, I remember back when this game first came out, some people talked up Lara's in-game deaths, so I tried to capture as many of them as I could. So, for your viewing pleasure, here is The Many Deaths of Lara Croft! Personally, I was disappointed by these, but then again, I've been spoiled by games like Postal 2 and Dead Space when it comes to gratuitous violence. And now for the most surprising aspect of this game, the fact it has multiplayer. While unnecessary and only sporting 4 modes, 2 of which are vanilla team deathmatch and regular deathmatch, Tomb Raider's multiplayer has managed to cultivate a strong online community for itself. Unfortunately, I didn't get much of a chance to give it a fair go as the game crashed pretty much every time I tried to play, and I could never connect to a ranked match. Though what little I did see was a fun experience with plenty of run and gun platforming. But I couldn't see enough to really make a solid judgment, and considering I've had some issues with other games on my laptop, it's a safe bet the issues were entirely on me. Overall, Tomb Raider's Voyage to Yamatai is one worth taking. An engaging single-player campaign that's really only brought down by some mechanics that needed reconsideration, and a pretty big disconnect between story and gameplay lies ahead. And there's a shockingly strong online community of survivors duking it out that lies beyond that. This is a voyage worth taking before Lara rises again.